chaos.
And I got bold just because you know what, it's July. Let's just get a little bit crazy. But who do you have as the fourth team?
So I'm 100% with you. I could have gone 100 different directions with this next chunk of the list. For the record, this 4 spot, I have it marked in my notes. This is the spot that I think the team that gets LeBron rises to.
You might be right about that. Yeah.
Like if Miami gets LeBron, I'm putting them right up here, in that conversation. If Philly gets LeBron, if Cleveland gets LeBron, I don't even like Cleveland, and I think if they get LeBron, they become this spot. And then certainly if the Golden State, it just pens the other trades. Like they would have to make other trades, but they do have their picks. Which, by the way,
yeah, good.
This is Denver too.
Denver and Minnesota to me are number 1 if they get him. It's not going to happen. So it's kind of silly.
We don't need to get into a whole tangent on this, but I continue to, what I keep thinking about with LeBron, with Denver, is he has played with teams that can't space from the center position ever since he left Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like whether it was Anthony Davis or it was Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton or whatever was filling in for Anthony Davis when he was hurt, LeBron has been contending with rim protection nonstop, and yet he has still been one of the most efficient and high-volume rim finishers in the league. I just imagine with Jokic pulling centers away, LeBron just feasting at the rim. I imagine the dual power forward thing. I think it would be such a wonderful fit, and I can't believe it's not being considered more from.
I know it's just not going to happen. Same with Minnesota, by the way, which I have to give them credit. He would be phenomenal there too. I think both of those teams I would have number 1 if they were to win the LeBron sweepstakes. It just feels like they were a token, just nice to be mentioned.
Exactly. So. The Golden State piece of it, meaning like if LeBron would go there, they have the pieces to make other moves.
Yeah.
Setting LeBron aside, since we don't know where he's going to go, this is why I ended up going with Boston at number 4. You
can make a case
because they have an extremely strong, regular season foundation in the sense that Paul George, say what you want about it, he's actually going to be a wonderful fit in Boston's system.
I agree.
And do I think their playoff ceiling is as high as it would have been if they would have kept Jaylen Brown? No, because I think Jaylen Brown is an underrated playoff player. But they have a boatload of draft picks available. They have a couple of different ways that they could structure salary trades. Like they could target less expensive players with someone like a Sam Hauser's salary. They could target a max level player with someone like Paul George's salary. They can target a middle salary with someone like Derek White in attaching picks, and they can make a big move. So Boston has the combination of like regular season stability and the ability to make a big move that kind of vaults them into another conversation. And again, I'm not the biggest Mitchell Robinson fan, but I do think he's a massive upgrade over their current backup options behind Nimi Keita.
And he's just a big body, which in the playoffs you can sink because you just didn't have a big enough body, which is what happened to him this year. So he checks a box that was unchecked in the playoffs last year. But I'm with you. The regular season formula thing to me is huge, and they just know how to like get games. I think their analytics ball, they're spread out, dribble drive, lots of threes. It's a formula for regular season success, and if things hit right, playoff success. Contender, they're in the same tier of all these other teams, which is if you're asking me, do you think they're going to win it next year? I'd say no, I don't. But you have to have somebody penciled in there and somebody that can make this sort of leap. And I actually love that you went bold. I had them number 7, but I'll be honest, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to me are all like they're just tied. All right, go to your next one because I don't want to share mine until it gets there because it's a bit of a surprise.
Okay, all right. Well, now I'm excited. Number 5, I have Miami.
Wow, not me.
Even if they don't get LeBron, I just think they have such a strong defensive foundation, and then the combination of just dealing with Giannis and Bam in a playoff series. I think they are set up too for backup plans off of the LeBron thing. Like, if they get LeBron, obviously that's a huge boost to them offensively. But they're going to have the line of all of these like inexpensive combo guards because of the ball handling responsibility that's available. Because their best perimeter players right now are Davion Mitchell and Tim Hardaway Jr. So, like, there's a good chance that you could see a DeMar DeRozan going there. There's a good chance you could see, I know Russell Westbrook's name has been floated around.
He'd actually maybe be good there. The spacing is a concern, but just in terms of, like, physical pressure on the paint.
It'd be a double down on what they do. You know what I mean? Like, their spacing is going to be crap anyway, so why not just have 7 people banging on the door, so to speak? But, like, I went with Miami here because I think that they just have a strong defensive foundation and a roster that's built for playoff success. But I want to be 100% clear. I agree with you. Like, you could argue anybody in this 4th or 8 range could be listed in a variety of different ways.
Yeah. Miami I is lower on. I had them, I think, what do I have them, 9th here? And I do feel bad about having them this low. The problem is, to me, they do feel like an incomplete team. They feel like a team that I think next year is going to be the title favorites. It might take 2 years to build this. The one thing I'll say is the regular season could get tough on them because they're the opposite of Boston. I think it'll be hard to manufacture wins. But the playoffs, I do think there's something to the playoffs. You have to score on teams. Teams have to get stops. You have to score on the other team. And I think that's going to be very easy for them to get stops in a playoffs. And that's before you finish out this roster. So it's almost like regular season I'll have them lower. They will take a bump in the playoffs, as they always do. Miami always levels up come playoff time. But I still think that this is a team that I'm not quite sure I believe that they can, like, get the points needed to beat the best teams as currently constructed.
I'm super excited to see what Eric Spoelstra's offensive system looks like with these guys, because he has literally been it's like one of those weird chef shows where they lay out a bunch of weird ingredients and you're supposed to make something like, exactly. But he's like, if there was a guy that I think could figure it out, it would be a guy like him. I'll be really curious. I think you're going to see an insane, like, transition-based attack. I definitely think they're going to be a big defense to transition team.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Number 6 for me is Philly.
Wow, I love how different we are. This is so good.
This is purely a talent. This is purely a talent piece of this. I think the fit is super clunky with Philly, and I think we'll actually talk more about this later when we talk about, like, players making adjustments. So I won't get into too much detail here with Jaylen Brown. But the truth of the matter is Jaylen Brown is an on-an-island player. His best traits when he was with Boston were on-ball defense, and then on the offensive end, working from the elbows in one-on-ones while everyone else stood around and watched. And he did legitimately get a lot better at that specific skill, scoring there and playmaking out of the middle of the floor. But he does, and I won't get into too much more detail here, like I said, but he doesn't play well in action with other players, meaning like 2-man game, 3-man game. And he's not a good spot-up player. And I think that makes it a tricky fit, especially considering you're going to get a lot of Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid pick and roll, which is going to put him into spot-up situations. I think there's a rhythm element that's going to be clunky. This is just a sheer talent play. Like, if it all comes together, they could win the East. But I could also see it going the opposite direction and them going home in the first round.
I had them really low. I'm low on Philly. I might like just take the opposite position because I really don't like the fit. I think of players in the fit as 2 players that are very good players that play off each other well. You give a +1 to them. 2 players that are very good but sort of take away from each other. It's like a -1.